No reasonable person would allow teachers to carry guns in K through 12 classrooms. Neither should any reasonable person consider having faculty and students carrying arms in classrooms. What would Socrates say? It's time for us to consider more drastic measures than just arguing reasonably with Charleston. They really are not reasonable.
With people with different ideologies and different identities, where we should be all listening to different ideologies and identities and having that experience so that we can become a more unified nation, is not conducive. Guns are not conducive to us expanding our views, which is the entire point of college. It's the point of undergrad, it's the point of grad school, and it's the point of continuing on as active citizens in our country. Thank you.
Say that basically students from the age of 18 to 23, or whatever students come in, are basically, specifically this conceal and carry people, are going to be more, the cost is going to be, quote, too much, or it's going to cause this, and this on purpose. It's like saying, because basically what I'm trying to say is cars can also cause casualties, okay? I know a girl, she got hit by a car, okay? She's still alive. I know a couple people that got hit by cars in the city and the cities, but I don't see many signs on this campus specifically relating to people hitting people with cars and saying, okay,
cars aren't designed to kill people. That's the only use of a handgun.
Hey, who has a microphone? Hey, check this out. Who has a phone? I do, right? Okay, just shut it up, okay? No, you won't, guys. Hey, look, y'all can boo me all you want, but guess what? There are many other things that kill people. How about diabetes, huh? Anybody? 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 Okay, how about...
You sound so fucking stupid.
I sound stupid? Okay.
I'm not willing to live in a democracy where my life is considered cheap on campus.
How should I cheap on campus?
My life is cheap on campus because I am a Latino man. Because I am here and I'm
HB2519 legislation that would require us to attend a school where anyone could conceal a handgun as long as that person obtained a permit. Many of us have signed an open letter already today, but after discussing with one another, we decided we needed our own letter as students of this institution. To say that this legislation goes against everything we want in an academic institution is an understatement. We chose to seek higher education because we want to solve the world's problems with our words and our ideas, not with guns and not with violence. Inviting guns into our classrooms will fundamentally change how our education system works. We are such a diverse group of students at WVU, and we've excelled at welcoming the views and perspectives of people from a wide array of backgrounds. How are we supposed to continue to voice our controversial ideas, to challenge one another in thought and practice, if we know that the person we're engaging with may be wearing a weapon? Furthermore, how can we ask the most vulnerable of us, our peers of color, our peers with intellectual and physical differences, our peers of other cultures, our peers who've experienced trauma at the hands of guns, yet have sought academia as a place to challenge their minds in a place of safety, to continue to engage with us in a sometimes passion-filled discourse if they cannot be certain weapons will not be in the room. To say we have nothing to fear because only lawful gun owners will be present on campus is to ignore the research fact that people are 9 times more likely to die from an unintentional firearm injury when they live in a state with more guns relative to states with fewer guns. The mere age of 25. That's us. People in our age range are the most susceptible to accidental shootings because of specific behavioral characteristics that we physically can't mature out of until we're older. That's if we make it to 25, of course. To say this legislation will allow students to be more protected against people who want to do us harm is inaccurate and it's insulting. We have seen time and time again how the good guy with the gun theory proves false. We are at an institution that believes in innovative problem solving and bettering the world. We chose to come here for that reason, and we want the chance to take part in that kind of innovative intellectual environment. To offer that the only solution to the problem of college safety is to arm every person who wants it is to end the conversation before we've had a chance to enter it. In what other scenarios would we ever consider adding more of the problem to fix the problem? Guns in our classrooms and in our dorms are not the answer. Almost 40,000 people are killed by guns each year in the U.S. Nearly 2/3 of those deaths are suicides, and the rate of suicide amongst Americans between the ages of 14 and 25 has been steadily climbing since 2014. It's a known fact that students in college are juggling a lot of stressful events. Many are away from home for the first time. They're taking heavy course loads and are under more economic stress. These circumstances, accompanied by the normal woes of figuring out who we are, has led many of us into periods of depression. How different would many of our stories be if at our lowest point we had a gun available in our dorm room? More guns will not make us safer, not from others and not from ourselves. At anywhere from $10 million to $11.5 million, the cost of this legislation could fund a full year's worth of WVU tuition for 1,300 West Virginia high school seniors. Or with that money, we could fund over 300 West Virginia first-generation students for the entirety of their undergraduate degrees. In a state that's been hurting for young entrepreneurs and economic investment, it seems nonsensical that we would spend this much money to please ALEC and the NRA, but not to invest in our futures. Lastly, if nothing else, passing this legislation will hurt the university on a national stage. Already, graduate students offered positions in some of our most prestigious programs are withholding their decision in order to see how this legislation will play out. They often have many options of schools where they can research, publish, and add to the prestige of the institutions, yet for many, the possibility of guns in our classrooms is enough for them to remove WVU from their list of considerations. Many of the graduate students signed on this letter have reconsidered pursuing their next higher level degree at WVU if this legislation passes. In order to recruit the top minds, we need to be the place that top minds want to go. Because this legislation defies all logic as we see it, passing HB2519 will make WVU a place where logical minds will not want to attend. Our enrollment will suffer, the quality of our educations will suffer, and perhaps most direly, there will be some students who gravely suffer if you allow this legislation to pass. We urge the WVU administration to support the students, faculty, staff, and entire WVU community by opposing HB 2519 in its totality. For any of our legislators looking on in Charleston, we also ask for you to reject this legislation, and we humbly remind you that the vast majority of us are voting constituents from across the state. Your vote will signal the value you place on our futures and our education, and we will remember.